Hello and welcome back to the Elite Takeover Podcast, where today we will be discussing the 21st, the 10th edition of AEW Dynamite. I am your host, Aidan, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host,
Raph. I'm still Raph.
You're still Raph this week. Raff. Still here. Well, what a night it was tonight. But before we get started, it would be amazing if you're watching this on YouTube to subscribe and a like, to go and check out our other reviews. Of course, we have Hell in a Cell coming up later this week, predictions, NXT tomorrow, SmackDown on Friday is going to be a busy old week, and Full Gear is, of course, coming up in a few weeks. And we are also available on all major podcasting apps, so go and check us out on there, give us a download, subscribe, a review. Anything will be amazing to help grow this out so that we can keep doing this. So, let's get started with AEW Dynamite tonight. Let's just go from the top. So, start things off. First things first, not really that important, but it's a bit weird they haven't updated the title sequence yet, because they still have Brody holding the TNT title as the first image in the title sequence. They usually update it like pretty dang quick, so it's a bit odd that that's still there, but that's just a little pet peeve. But we start things off with Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. And I really hate his song. I really hate Wardlow's song. This is war. I really don't like his song. But the match was really good. It was a really, just generally, really good episode of Dynamite tonight. The match goes off quite fast. Jungle Boy trying to get a good fast offense to start things off, trying to take Wardlow off his feet. But Wardlow kind of keeps catching Jungle Boy out of his big moves. And trying to go for that F10 a lot, but not managed to get it. Jungle Boy kept getting out of it. There's a really nice spot where Jungle Boy tried to go for Hurricane Rana, got caught into a powerbomb into the ring post. Just really, really nice stuff.
I really thought he had hurt himself because he was holding his head a lot.
Yeah. The ending of the match came from Jungle Boy was trying to dive to the outside onto the stage area. Wardlow catches him on the shoulder, F10 into the ring, and then another F10, getting him so high, and just
it was incredible.
Another one, and he wins. And it was great. It was a really fun match between these two. Really good way to start off the show.
It's nice to see Wardlow wrestle.
Yeah, it's nice to see Wardlow in a good position instead of just being MJF's lackey. It was a very nice place to see him tonight. No MJF with him as well, which was nice to see. Didn't have any of that kind of distraction going on. Jungle Boy looking as great as always. He's superb.
He's my cute little Jungle Boy. No, as in like he looks so sweet, and like him and his trio of Jurassic Express and everything is just like, they just make me smile all the time. Yeah,
he's a baby face for life.
Yeah.
At least for like the next 5 years, he's like a perennial baby face, and he's really good at what he does.
He's so good,
especially for being so young. He continues to show how good he is, and Dynamite has been amazing on getting him over. And Wardlow looked great, and that F10 is super. That F10 is great. It is a brutal move. It is super, super brutal, but it is great. It's an awesome move.
Lots of brutal moves tonight.
Yes, there was. So we had a bit of a recap to what happened at the end of Dynamite last week, and saw some stuff post-show, which it's kind of mentioned a lot during the promos in the night, so we'll get to that when we get to the promos. But we have it confirmed that we have an I Quit match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at Full Gear on the 7th of November. And that should be a lot of fun. It's what they needed. They needed this kind of stipulation, this more hardcore stipulation. I didn't really want to see Eddie and Mox again, just one-on-one. That didn't feel like a main event, but with a big stipulation, then this I Quit match is going to be brutal, and I think that really is going to be a good main event for Full Gear. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. And it's nice. It's a thing like when Moxley does like not basic, but just like technical wrestle, just like inside the ring with like lots of not stipulations, but like just a way like him being a bit wilder. I think it's going to be funnier to see.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of intensity to this match. They're going to want to destroy each other. And since they are genuinely such good friends, like, they're definitely going to be working to put on a great match.
And they know each other.
Yeah, he's going to be wanting to make Kingston look great, and Kingston will look great in a defeat, because Mox will be holding on to that title for a longer time. But we go straight from that into a Moxie promo. Mox kind of talks about how him and Eddie used to be friends. They used to be like so close over all the years, but that Eddie has changed and has grown bitter, and this Eddie whining about the fact that he didn't quit isn't the same Eddie that Moxley knew and grew with. And Mox says that he won't apologise for the fact that he went and brought his mum a house. He's not going to apologise for the fact that he went and worked and earned money and all this kind of stuff. And he is going to make Eddie Kingston quit, and he's going to get his friend back or else, and there's no one to blame but Kingston. Really good stuff. Moxley clearly cares about this program. This program came across really well in the promo. He's done some very good promo work recently. Like his stuff with Archer as well, so it was really good.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah.
It's just really intense.
Yeah, it's been really good. And I think these kind of cinematic promos for Moxley are working a lot better than his in-ring promos, if I'm honest. I think it works a lot better for him, putting him in like a more interesting environment. So we go into our second tournament match of the night. Of course, that first match was in the tournament. I did forget to say that. The tournament did start tonight for the Full Gear #1 contenders match. So we move on to Sonny Kiss versus Kenny Omega. It was supposed to be Joey Janela, but Joey has come into contact with people, potentially come into contact with people with COVID-19. So unfortunately, he did have to be pulled, but it's for the safety of all the wrestlers, the most important thing.
It was a shame because I was looking into Twitter earlier and I saw like Sonny Kiss's Twitter account and she was just talking about how like on Dark he was by her side and now she was going to be the one by his side, and she kept saying like, oh, this is like, this week's for you, like this week is yours, Joey, like I'm going to be on your side no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's a thing that you just can't.
It's the way it worked out, and it's better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And honestly, it's not like this match was going to go any differently. I get the feeling this would have been exactly pretty much the same match. Sonny comes out, looks great in the outfit for tonight, looked really good.
Oh, so good. I love Sonny.
And then we get the new Kenny Omega intro, where Justin Roberts has to list through all of his accolades of being the PWI #1 wrestler of the year, having breaking the Dave Meltzer 5-star rating system multiple times, having the best tag match ever, the best singles match ever, all this stuff, going through all of that ever. And then we get two cleaner women coming out with little brooms. Yeah,
with the choreography with like 3 different steps, and that was it.
Yeah, I know, like, sure, I understand. I don't understand. We have the cheerleaders who work at
exactly
why, because in this segment and the later segment tonight with dancers, they were both rubbish. I don't really understand why.
Broadway dancers are without a job. Just grab them to do a small segment. I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
That's fair. They're on the other side of the country, but apart from that,
oh yeah, true. They have enough money to move them there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's just dancers, general in Florida that you could use. But and then there's the really cool blue kind of curtain that they put over the left side entrance where Kenny Omega was posing behind it with some really cool lighting. And I think this is kind of going to be one of those things where they kind of build this entrance. Yeah. And then it's going to become more than what it is now. Because I thought it was really awesome at the beginning, but it was really awesome, and the silhouette looked amazing. And then we went back into Battle Cry and kind of his usual entrance past that point. But he definitely
they're building up to his
heel. They're completely building to his full-on heel run and going back. And we're definitely going to get the cleaner at some point soon. They're not going to keep teasing it for nothing. We'll get some version of the cleaner at least. Really good. Kenny comes down. He felt like a big deal. He feels like a big deal again, which is really good. They do a handshake at the beginning of the match, still keeping up the traditions of like New Japan, all that kind of stuff. The Code of Honor, all that stuff. Goes straight in, hits the V-trigger, one-winged angel, and that's it. It's done. Super, super quick.
Literally 20 seconds.
Yeah, super brutal. That V-trigger was very nice V-trigger. Sonny did kind of preempt it a little bit, but it's fine. It didn't really matter. I didn't notice at the time. It's only because I saw it back on the replay. But he helps Sonny, gets her back up, raises her hand, gives a hug. So we're still kind of teasing towards this, but the look on Kenny's face was brilliant when he had won. Just like this. Yeah, I told you. Yeah.
And also when
Obviously.
he was actually like on top of her, pinning her.
Yeah.
And he just literally like was just sitting there being like, yeah, I won this. Like, there's no doubt. Like, I'm not even got to put any effort into this.
But no effort into it. And obviously I won. I'm the best. I'm the best bout machine. Obviously I won.
She was so upset.
Yeah.
Like when he went to give her a hug and stuff. And it was just like, yeah.
There was tension, certainly. But it was really good. And I look forward. I'm so excited for Omega versus Fenix next week. That is going to be amazing. Yeah, as long as they give it... it'll be interesting to see what they do, I guess, because they kind of have to do they'll have to do a longer match.
Yeah.
But it's still not going to be very long. And it never should it be, because, like, Omega and Fenix, Omega and Pentagon, like, that could be a main event of a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Easily a main event of something. They should be
later.
saving those matches for something bigger, to be, in my opinion, those kind of singles matches. So we move on. We have a Orange Cassidy promo backstage. I didn't really get this promo. It was kind of pointless. Essentially, he was asked about what he thought about what happened last week when he didn't win the title. Then they went to the time limit finish, and he just went, sometimes calls go your way, sometimes they don't. And then asked about next week where he's going to have his rematch. And he says something about Cincinnati.
I think he was talking about he's going to like... I think Tony was asking him about like his preparation, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to run all the way to Cincinnati," and then
is that what he's okay?
I think so, and then that's why Tony went. But it's still here in Jacksonville.
Okay, but I might have misunderstood. This promo was kind of pointless,
and also the sound wasn't very good, so you couldn't really understand properly what they were saying.
Yeah,
it wasn't a good sound.
No, I kind of feel like Cassidy speaking, now he does speak a bit. He should still only be speaking for like important things.
Yeah.
It still should be part of his character that he only really speaks when he has something he needs to say.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would he? Why is he going to waste the energy to talk?
To do it, yeah.
That's kind of his gimmick. So I didn't really see the point in him responding in this interview, but there you go, whatever. Go and see Cody. We
still love him very much, sorry.
Oh yeah, still love Cassidy. It'll be interesting what happens in the Lumberjack match next week. So I'll do the Cody promo first, then we'll talk about the Lumberjack match. So Cody is caught in the parking lot. He's kind of surprised about having this rematch so quickly, but he's like, if people want it, then whatever. I
don't understand why TNT wants it so quickly, but
but if the fans want it, whatever. I am the gold. He's a golden boy essentially. He's pure AEW. He bleeds AEW. And then talks about the potentiality for Stip being added, which we did get later in the night. And then we talk about the fact that he's gained 14 pounds in the time while he was off, which was like crazy. A month. He's like a month that he gained 14 pounds. That is ridiculous. Cody saying that he wants tired of being called the giant killer in AEW, and he wants to be a heavyweight.
He wants to be the giant.
He wants to become Andre the Giant, apparently. It was fine. I don't really know where this is going, to be honest. It was nice to see him like bulking up a bit, but I don't know where this is going yet. We'll have to wait and see. I still
making a big deal out of it and everything. It was
it's going to be interesting. So next week we have this Lumberjack match where the Dark Order later in the show. We'll do all this at once, actually, because it kind of all fits together. Dark Order in an interview before Colt Cabana has his match with Hangman later in the night. Colt and Silver and Reynolds are backstage discussing about that they want to become the tag champs and then the world champion. Brody getting back his TNT championship. Cody saying that he sees it as a mission. He sees it as a mission opportunity from the Exalted One because he's managed to get in this tournament. Silver kind of loses it randomly about the pressure and says that the entire Dark Order will be there next week to help Brody get back his TNT title down the line, and then starts a Brody chant. So obviously next week we're going to have the Dark Order ringside for this Lumberjack match, and I'm not entirely sure because this isn't really a very Dynamite thing to do. I kind of feel like we're going to go into a fatal 4-way at the pay-per-view. I feel like we're going to end up with Cody, Cassidy, Brody, and Darby.
Yeah.
In a 4-way.
Yeah.
And maybe even chucking Ricky Starks in there with his promo later in the night as well. You didn't see that, but essentially they continued building the Starks and Allen thing.
Okay.
Because they mentioned in that... We'll just do all the promos right now, apparently. So, again,
They're all connected.
They are all connected. So later in the night, Taz comes out with Team Taz. Taz says he has 2 problems. I have 2 problems I want to deal with. So he wants an answer from Will Hobbs still after Will Hobbs was beaten by Brian Cage, and they offered him to join Team Taz, and Brian Hobbs never made an answer because he was saved by Allen. So they want an answer from Will Hobbs. Sure. Honestly, just put Will Hobbs with them, probably. Yeah. In my opinion. I think Will Hobbs probably do better with them than against them. Mm-hmm. And then they get into talking about Darby Allin. And the interesting thing was that Taz was talking about how he saw Tony Khan backstage, and Tony Khan told him that in the match a few weeks ago, the Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks match, that retroactively that match was being made a number 1 contenders match, essentially, where whoever had won that match would have been the one to be in the position to be the number 1 contender for Full Gear, which is why Darby is the number 1 contender. It's what they've retroactively said. Obviously, they kind of come up with that a bit on the fly, it seems like.
Yeah.
But Starks then gets on the mic saying that how Allen will pay, and he promises when they meet again, he'll put in the ground. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we ended up like with a 5-way here, like just a big,
maybe
a big match. It's either just going to be Cody versus Darby 1-on-1, or we have this big match.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I prefer, but I kind of feel like next week we're just going to have. It's like I was saying, it's not very Dynamite, but having a Dark Order kind of just completely wreck the match.
Yes. I think so as well.
Because I think you have to protect Cassidy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think because Cassidy ain't winning that title. Let's be real. We're not going to have... Not now. He will in the future.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
But having like Cassidy versus Darby Allin at a pay-per-view...
That'd be so cool.
It sounds really good on paper, but I don't... There's no storyline between those two guys.
Not
it doesn't
right now,
really gel for me in terms of that kind of would need a build for it for me.
Yeah.
And that's like 2 proper babyface guys going after each other.
Yeah, I agree.
And like, I know Cody's obviously a babyface as well, but Cody and Darby have the history. They have everything that they've had before.
And Cody hasn't been a very good face lately. He's been kind of like transitioning a little bit. It just sometimes he gets a bit too cocky.
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah, they kind of hint at the heel turn stuff and never really goes anywhere. But he's pretty good at playing heel in matches and then going back to being babyface afterwards. But yeah, I could kind of see Brody getting involved and then getting a big fatal 4-way. Because I think that's the only way you get Brody and Cassidy on the cards as well.
Yeah.
Unless you do Brody versus Cassidy 1-on-1.
Yeah.
But we've already had that. We had that on Dynamite, so I don't really know why we'd have it again.
No, we'll see.
We'll see. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I do think that's my prediction at the moment is we're going to end up with a fatal 4-way match. So let's move back down the show onto another promo. There was quite a lot of promos tonight, apparently. I didn't realise. A Kingston promo talking about replying to what Mox has said earlier, basically saying that he now hates who Kingston hates who he's become. He doesn't like looking himself in the mirror, but this is the way it's had to be. This is the only way that he managed to get success. When he wasn't his snake, he got nothing.
Yeah.
He's worked all this way, didn't get anything for it, and when he's become a snake, that's when he's got something. And he is going to take Moxley to the dark place, which is where Eddie Kingston lives.
That's a good promo.
Kingston's great. Kingston's a great promo.
He's a great talker.
Yeah. So on a side note, very odd that we had nothing from Lance tonight.
Oh yeah.
He had his big loss to Moxley last week and just wasn't there.
No.
There was no response. No response from Archer, no response from Roberts. It kind of that feels a little bit weird, but honestly, he doesn't really have a. Honestly, you may as well keep him off until after the pay-per-view. To be honest, there's no place for him on that pay-per-view right now.
No.
All he's going to be doing is beating someone up backstage. He'll just go back to doing that again, which is fine. It's fun. I don't really know where you go with Lance Archer past where they were last week, to be honest. But there you go. So now we get into the best match of the night.
And probably of the year. so far.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far.
Oh my god!
But this match was it's one of the best. It's one of the best matches that have been on Dynamite, definitely.
Yes.
And he's in the top 5 of Dynamite matches, up there with like Omega and Pac and stuff like that, Hangman and Pac and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this was incredible.
Go and watch it.
I have like barely any notes for this, but it was incredible.
I couldn't take my eyes off the TV.
Yeah. Brutal chops.
Oh my god.
They really tried to prove something here tonight. Really tried to prove something. And it helped having Kingston on commentary. Kingston was bigging them up the entire match. When he throws... so at the beginning of the match, they did the super kick at the diving super kick spot. Phoenix got up super high, and then Penta... destroyed him with a super kick. Just reversals after reversals after reversals. Super slick Lucha Libre stuff.
So smooth. Like everything was just like reversal after reversal. You couldn't even tell what they were like going for because the other one was reversing it so quickly.
Yeah, these two obviously know each other. They're brothers. They know each other inside and out. It was superb.
So good.
At one point, the turning point in the match when they're on the outside and Phoenix, they're doing the chop spots again, and Phoenix manages to get out of the way and Penta chops the ring post really hard. Ouch. Back in the ring, got this awesome spot where Phoenix gets thrown in the air. Phoenix spins himself in the air and then lands into a powerbomb from Penta. Just ridiculous stuff.
When they were outside and like Penta grabbed Phoenix and just threw him onto the barricades, crazy strength and just
Phoenix landing in the handstand on the apron and then Penta super kicking him right in the middle of the face. It was a superb match. Just watch it.
It's so good.
It ends with apparently according to Eddie Kingston, because obviously I don't speak Spanish, Penta says sorry to Phoenix, goes for his finish, but then Penta, I apologize, Phoenix manages to turn it around and get him into a Canadian destroyer out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3.
Which was beautiful.
It was gorgeous. It was a really nice transition. And post-match, Penta kind of pushes Phoenix away and is a bit unhappy, but yeah, we'll see. They're kind of still building this tension. So we had this tension a few weeks ago.
A few weeks, yeah.
And And
you always had Kingston in the middle being like, come on, guys, like, you're my best friends and your brothers, like, just get over it, like...
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with the split coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing. I think these two will do amazing in singles. They have so many tag teams. They're not needed as a tag team, to be honest. And they
could keep doing brawls between each other. Because obviously, they're kind of like upset with each other right now.
Yeah, we can kind of continue to tease this going forwards. Maybe Penta accidentally gets involved next week in the match against Omega. Who knows? We'll see. I don't think it'll be that. I don't actually think that'll happen. I think it's going to be a longer build than that. Mm-hmm. But and Eddie Kingston doesn't need all of these people with him.
Yes, he has too many people.
He has a lot of people. Like he would be fine with just Butcher and the Blade behind him. Like Penta and Phoenix do feel a little bit above. Not necessarily
Even
above.
Even though they work very well together.
They all work very well together. But I don't know whether it's my own bias or what it is. But I do feel like Penta and Phoenix feel much more stars than Butcher and Blade do.
Yeah. But I do like Kingston and the Little Brothers. I do like them more than I like Kingston and Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah.
I think Kingston has a very soft spot for.
Well, he always calls
brothers.
It's another thing. Another thing that's I find hilarious is how Kingston always calls Penta his best friend,
and Phoenix,
and then Phoenix. I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's really funny.
But I guess
my best friend Penta and Phoenix.
Okay, what I would like to happen, fantasy booking time, is I think you end up you have the turn. Mm-hmm. Penta can turn on Phoenix.
Yeah,
have the proper heel turn there. Phoenix be the good guy because he looks like a good guy. He's the flippy dude. He has to be the good guy, and Penta's such a good bad guy.
And he has his poopy mask and makeup.
And then you can still keep him with Kingston, But because Kingston would have lost this big match to Moxley, move Kingston more into a managerial position, have him as the manager for Penta, and do the talking for Penta. Because obviously Penta, he speaks Spanish, so he's not going to be necessarily doing too much speaking himself. His main language is Spanish. Spanish. No, which is it, Mexican or Spanish? Which would you call the language in Mexico?
Spanish.
But yeah.
American Spanish, I think. Something like that.
Yeah. But I think that'd be good, having Kingston as Penta's like support piece, and then you can have Butcher and Blades as the muscle behind doing their own thing, and Fenix can go and fly and be superb.
Literally.
Yeah. So then we had that Dark Order promo I talked about earlier, and we go into the Cole versus Hangman match, which
I don't know if it was because it came from a very interesting match, but I don't think it was that.
Yeah, this was kind of one of the low points of the show. I don't necessarily think Cole and Hangman worked that well together.
No.
And personally, I don't necessarily think storyline-wise it made all that much sense, because, like, Hangman, it should be him kind of his. If you're trying to build up this thing, which they feel like which they have been doing, of Hangman wanting to still be a tag team, wanting to still do the tag team with Kenny, wanting all that stuff still, and only kind of joining this because Kenny was part of the tournament and being upset. Surely he needs to learn to be a singles guy.
Yeah,
he needs to be able to get his confidence back, because it's been such a long time since he was a singles guy, since he had that massive loss to Jericho All Out last year.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what put him on this pathway to where he is now. And it shouldn't be this easy for him just to come back and have a very regular singles match, to be honest. It felt a bit... I know he's been the one having matches over the past few weeks, but I feel like it should have been a bit more conflicted, and like Cole in the Dark Order just doesn't work. It still doesn't work. I don't think it's ever going to work.
No, I don't.
Especially with Colt, especially since Colt Cabana hasn't changed his wrestling style.
Exactly, and he hasn't changed gear, hasn't changed anything.
No, because he's still the comedy wrestler. Like he still does like that Superman pin and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of comedy stuff in this match, which just kind of made Hangman look a bit silly.
That was like a point. That was like a big point about him joining the Dark Order, was because he was like the black sheep in the group. But still,
yeah, but there should have been some kind of change to his character by now. I don't. Yeah. Hey ho. So we have a little bit of so Hangman won the match with the buckshot. Dark Order
and his entrance thingy.
Oh yeah, enter the tournament via a bunch of drunken voicemails.
I always have so much fun reading those from him.
They're very funny. I forgot to say earlier, when Eddie Kingston was on commentary, he did talk about how a kid beat him up with a baseball bat and then he went and stabbed him with a pen. Just thought you should know. Kingston never quits. Apparently, just stabs people with pens. So expect a pen spot at Full Gear.
Yeah, I guess so.
We get a tease backstage for Sammy and Matt. Tease for Full Gear. They have the date on the thing, and they announced later in the night that it's going to be an Elite Deletion match. Which, okay, so these two shouldn't be together. They shouldn't be together in the slightest. But clearly, Hardy. The only reason they would be doing this is if Hardy has agreed to do it.
Yeah.
It still doesn't mean they should be doing it, but he has agreed to do it, and he wants to finish this story. But if this is like a proper deletion match where it's pre-filmed, it's on the Hardy manor, where it's all coming nice and controlled, it can be completely written out and completely controlled, and they can hide all these high spots and these bloody spots through different things, these different versions of Matt Hardy. Going back to that kind of stuff.
And it's just because, like, I think Sammy and Matt, like, they both are great, and they would work great together if they didn't get so, like, their adrenaline when they work together live, it just goes off the charts. Yeah. And that's what puts them in danger, I think. Yeah,
I'd rather not see this match. It's going to make me uncomfortable, but
as long as it's pre-recorded, it should be fine.
If it's I think it will be pre-recorded, and it should be absolutely fine. Hopefully it'll be a proper deletion. It should be fun if it's a proper deletion.
Yes, exactly. And because their promos have been very cinematic as well, so I think that could be pointing out to towards the cinematic, like, pre-recorded match.
Yeah, it does feel weird for Sammy to be involved in like 2 storylines at once, though, to be honest, because he's also involved in this whole MJF Jericho stuff. Because he's the one
that doesn't really.
He's the most vocal person for not wanting MJF to be on the team, and it kind of feels like potentially we could
just want to like put a finishing line on the story of Matt.
Yeah.
And Sammy.
Well, maybe the thing is, more fantasy booking again. Mm-hmm. Maybe the thing is that Sammy and Matt having this Elite Deletion match is going to be the thing that's going to write Sammy off for a little bit. Yeah. Sammy's going to have something ridiculous done to him that's going to write him off TV, which is going to be whatever match they do at Full Gear with MJF and Jericho, whatever they do. If they drag this out longer, which they could do.
They should do.
They probably will do. Have MJF. MJF can then join the Dark Order. MJF can join the Dark Order. No. MJF can join the Inner Circle because of the fact that Sammy is no longer there.
Yeah.
He can take Sammy's place, and then Sammy can come back and be
very upset,
be angry and upset about it, and then fight to get his place back. And then MJF can either take over the Inner Circle or he can just kill Jericho, one or the other. So then we get to the MJF and Jericho segment here tonight. The Dinner Debonair.
Steak
Debonair. Steak Debonair. Oh my goodness.
Le Steak Debonair. Oh, it was so good.
My word. This was ridiculous.
And that's how you break into song from a scene.
So let's just go through from the beginning.
Yes.
So we start off, they're in their tuxes, their tuxedos. MJF wearing a tuxedo with a scarf.
I always love Jericho's suits. They're always incredible. He had like this red suit, this red jacket with like really cool pattern on it.
Yeah. So they go through a whole thing of fighting over trying to prove how manly they are with how rare their steaks are going to be. So we go through with Jericho. MJF wants to have a well done steak. Jericho laughs. A medium well. Then go to medium rare, blue. You get the idea. It was quite fun. It felt like something was missing, but I understood why later when we kind of got into what we were going to. Jericho talks about how they were sat there for 20 minutes in silence earlier, and MJF had just been a dick to everyone they'd seen.
Yeah.
MJF, they're having a town hall meeting next week in the Inner Circle to determine whether MJF should be allowed to join or not. MJF talks about the demo god and the ratings ruler being together, and Jericho says that the rating ruler sucks and it won't get over, just like Orange Cassidy.
Ha 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 ha.
And then the music starts.
They have like this little moment. And they have this little moment where they freeze for a second.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the hell's happening? And the music comes in and I was like, I can't believe it. But MJF is a great singer, let me tell you.
MJF was better than Jericho. Jericho was flat more than MJF was.
Yeah. But then again, Jericho's older, his voice sounds different. But still, like, it was...
Okay, but Jericho has a rock band.
Yes.
Come on.
That's why he's flat, because his voice is broken.
Yeah.
It was so good.
The dancers were dreadful. Dancers were dreadful.
Once again, get proper dancers. Just for those
If you're going to do this kind of stuff, get proper dancers. It makes it look so much better. It did make it look amateurish having bad dancers. Because they were such bad dancers as well.
Yes. Like, if the back dancers were fine and then they were the ones that were not great, it would actually work
because it's supposed to be like a showman kind of thing.
Yeah.
They should... the only thing I kind of really liked more from it was a bit more of them trying to one-up each other during the song itself.
Yes.
That's the only thing, because that song does... Obviously, Me and My Shadow being what the song was, so then just it kind of echoes. They both had their own solo segments with the other person doing the backing, and it kind of is supposed to be showing how equal they are and together they are. But I think a bit of that come-upmanship, a bit of trying to be better than each other in the song would have been nice, but
it's still so good.
It was hilarious.
It just finished and we were like 5 seconds just like, what?
Yeah. I felt sorry for Baker and King next.
Yes.
Because this just completely...
did not pay any attention to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I was distracted looking into Twitter to see how people reacted to it, because obviously we come from a musical background, so we loved it. But we know that some people would absolutely hate it. But actually, it didn't seem to be welcomed that badly.
No. I think it's brilliant. I think it was just so good. Silly. It's very Jericho. It's so Jericho. Yes. It's a little bit too self-indulgent, perhaps, but it's very Jericho.
It works.
As long as they don't, as long as they allow, as long as they know where this is going and they have a plan for what's going to be happening in these next few weeks to get us to Full Gear, to get us to
Which
Revolution.
I'm 80% sure they do.
As long as they know where they're going with this, it's fine. If they don't and they just go...
And we ended here.
Jericho's just like, I like working with MJF. I want to do a silly segment with him every single week. It's going to go a bit far. It'll still be good because they're great together, but we'll see. But once they also had some good rewritten lyrics in the song, calling out Mox, saying they're going to beat up John Moxley, calling the Young Bucks. I can't remember what they called them now. I need to listen to it again and just listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
But and then we go back to the restaurant itself. Jericho and MJF. As if nothing happens. They both get their meat and their baked potatoes. They look down and they just both pull a face and they're like, this is super, super rare. I'm not eating this. It's super, super, super rare. I'm not eating raw meat. And then they both call for the waitress to come back. And then we went to an advert break and we were all just like, speechless. And we come back to Britt Baker versus if you want to say her name, Killing King. Killing King, I think that's what it is. It's AEW's women's division. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it makes me really sad because it kind of felt like they were going somewhere with it a while ago, but now it's just been a bit.
They managed to get a bit more heat underneath it with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah,
but now she's kind of disappeared back to NWA or wherever, or whether she's working with the company again, who knows.
It really makes me sad because they have such a good men's division.
Yeah.
They should... And I know they've been trying, they have been trying.
Ish.
But it's just not working.
Yeah, it's a lot working. And I think
it's
the thing
hit or misses all the time.
The thing that bothers me the most, I think, is actually the fact that you know where the women's segment is going to come on every show.
Yeah.
The women's segment is always the semi-main event, essentially. It's always that cool the crowd down before we get to the main event.
Yeah.
Give them a second to go and chill before we come back with the big main event match, which isn't the position you should be putting those women in.
No.
I assume we're going to get Baker versus Shida at the pay-per-view, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. Britt isn't advertised for next week's show. Shida wasn't there tonight. There was no interaction between the two of them. Britt Baker just got a win. Yeah,
this was the only thing we saw with women, apart from Bunny showing up later on. But
yeah, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Next week, they confirm the match. So she had a curb stomp. She's being Seth Rollins, apparently.
Yes.
She's taken Seth Rollins' move and then put the lockjaw on for the tap. It's nice to see her all in pink and the breast cancer awareness stuff, which is really nice, which WWE has done less of this year than they usually do, which is weird. I haven't even
seen any mention from the WWE itself.
Yeah, maybe we just missed it, but I haven't seen much. So next week we have Hangman versus Wardlow, Fenix versus Omega, the two semi-finals matches. We're going to have the Lumberjack match for Cody and Cassidy, the Town Hall meeting, and we're going to be having Take On T versus Abaddon.
I'm interested to see Tay wrestle because I do like her. I have a soft spot for her, but I haven't seen Abaddon really.
She's only had one match on Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of her matches have been on Dark, and she's done a winning streak, but
I mean, she has merchandise and everything, and she's only had one match
on Dynamite,
on actual Dynamite, but she compared to other people that are in Dark and don't have merch, she already has merch, so I don't know to what point. I need to see it too.
Yeah, we need to see. She's got a good gimmick, but
yeah, I like it.
But it's just going to be Tay losing, and maybe we'll do more Dark Order stuff with Tay, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
But the Dark Order are a bit busy on that night with the Cody casting match. I don't really know what that's.
We'll see.
Yeah, and like, where's Shida? She's the champion.
Yeah.
Why are we not setting up her match with Full Gear? Are we just going to be like,
here it is?
Or are we going to be doing, or are we going Tay vs Abaddon next week, so then we can go Britt Baker and Abaddon have both got wins recently. We'll have a number one contenders match the week after. I have no idea. We'll see. Or is Nia Jax, apologies, Nyla Rose going to turn back up and be like, I've been the number one contender for about 20 years.
Yeah, who knows?
We see a Darby Allin promo with Steve-O. You can talk about this. This is your thing more than it's mine.
So Steve-O is the guy from Jackass, which is a TV show, not TV show. Well, it was a TV show and then they made it into films where they have like little sketches where they do stupid things.
Yeah.
Like really stupid things and dangerous and like one of the, like the amount of concussions they've had and stuff. So they're like crazy people.
Yeah.
He looks so much older. I hadn't seen him since obviously like the Jackass 4. I think it was 4. And like, he's so much older and so much thinner, which you would expect. But it's still nice to see him around and everything because obviously the last time I heard about them was a few days ago, wasn't it? It was one of the guys.
Yeah.
One of the guys
I can't remember which one, but
died.
Yeah, he did.
Did he die? Yeah, and before that I had heard, like you always hear bad things about them because obviously they've done so many stupid things.
Yeah, they've kind of ruined their bodies.
You kind of expect them to just like show up for bad news. So it's nice to see him like do a stupid thing that didn't really hurt too much. I don't know what's the point of him being there. It's
just Darby continuing his thing with random celebrities. Get Tony Hawk's there a few weeks ago and stuff.
Yeah, so...
so
fun.
They get on a body bag, his body bag with the face of TNT written on it, goes to the top of a one of the skateboard ramps and
they
rolls
do the
down
usual thing they usually do on Jackass, which is I am blah 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 blah, and this is a body bag roll or something, whatever they call it. Like, I am Darby Allin, and this is body bag roll, and he just gets inside the bag.
I just find it funny because this is so much of a nicer thing for him to take than when Brian Cage put him inside the body bag with pins and then just tossed him to the outside of the ring without allowing anyone, allowing him to see in the slightest.
Was it him that took the skateboard onto his back full of...
No, that was Starks.
But still, yeah. It was a bit anticlimactic because I was expecting it to be worse because obviously you've seen Darby doing so many bad
like Darby's done even in these videos he's done more bigger things than what he did in that. But anyway, it was a small tiny promo. It doesn't matter. Promo. Doesn't matter. And we get to our main event, the 4-way tag team match, Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, and we have the Bunny back. The Bunny has been returned. She has turned on QT Marshall and rejoined the Butcher and the Blade. I'm so glad that
she's back. Well, she's not... She had like 4 transformations. Obviously, 2 of them are the same, but she had 4 changes in a year.
Yeah, she's had a lot of changes of character. It's very odd.
I can really tell that they don't know what to do with her. And honestly, I don't know
I don't really care particularly. No. She doesn't interest me. She doesn't interest me in the ring. She doesn't really interest me as a manager.
No.
Whatever. I'm glad she's got a job. That's all I'll say. That's all I have an opinion on. But yeah, Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, Reynolds and Silver, and the Bucks. So obviously this was super obvious that the Bucks were going to win this because Bucks FTR is the match. None of these other matches would have been as big a deal. Potentially Private Party. That was the only one.
Could be, but
that was the only potential winner. But
as soon as last week, the Young Bucks got called from the draft. We were like, I thought that was the reason for them not to be in the match was doing the balls from the basket thing. But they still ran it and they won. It was a good match. It was quite fun. Big shooting star from Quinn. Quinn looked really good in this match. Private Party looked really good generally in this match. He made a massive shooting star press on the Blade at one point. We go to advert. Sammy comes out and attacks Matt Hardy. More of the same. Nothing really exciting there. And they just disappear.
We kind of a nice little spot in the advert break where Dark Order tried to recruit Butcher and the Blade.
Oh, yeah.
And they all held up their little hand, their little Dark Order hand, their claw. The claw. Ali distracts the Dark Order. Silver gets very excited. he comes in his pants, and then Butcher and the Blade beat them up. We come back from advert. John Silver goes on like a wrecking train for a second. He beats up everyone.
Yes, it was so fun.
He's great. I really like Reynolds and Silver. I think they're great.
I want to see Silver and
Marco is what he said.
Yeah. I really want to see them together.
Yeah, and
I think it would be fun because they're so both super energetic and so tiny.
Yeah,
I think it would be fun.
And then essentially we go through a series of everyone trying to everyone hitting like big tag team moves, and then every single time the Young Bucks would break up the pinfall to prevent whatever team it was to be getting the victory. And then eventually the Young Bucks managed to get back in the ring. Nick takes everyone out. They tags into a match as a super kick party on the Butcher, and then they do this really cool pile driver and senton combination, managing not to get the pinfall because everyone breaks it up. A very close roll up from Cassidy. Matt and Nick get rid of everyone, and we're kind of back to Private Party versus Young Bucks is pretty much the story of the end of this match. The Young Bucks pretty much getting their win back from October last year, in the number one in the tag team title tournament where Private Party beat them. The Young Bucks playing up their heeliness towards the end of the match. At the beginning of the match, they were kind of being quite face, but then they kind of got more heely as it went along.
Yeah, they just kept getting like scary and just like more and more upset.
Yeah, more and more intense. They got rid of everyone else around the place to prevent Cassidy from being able to get any kind of tags.
Yeah, he kept trying to get a tag, and then they would just go around and pull them off the ring. And stuff.
Whether Matt took them out or whether Nick pulled them off the apron, they just took them all out. They go for the melter driver to Cassidy, but Quinn stops it, grabbing Nick's legs. They do the roll-up. Cassidy rolls up Matt, which was the finish to the original match they had. But this time, Matt knows what's coming. He rolls it over and he wins. So Young Bucks pick up their big victory going forward. So there's going to be FTR versus Young Bucks at Full Gear, which is going to be great. I'm not entirely sure. I guess FTR is going to win, I assume.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll talk about predictions close to the time.
Yeah.
But FTR comes out to the ring afterwards, potentially to congratulate them. They have beers in the hand. The Bucks punch the beers out of their hands. And then a strange man from the ring announce area turns up with a chair.
Which we knew exactly who was.
Who was super clearly Tully Blanchard. super clearly.
That white hair.
Yeah.
And the way he was walking.
You could just tell straight away. It was really simple. It didn't really matter. It still worked anyway. He could have just taken the mask down earlier. Tully hits Matt with the chair. They get Nick up for... the FTR hold Nick up in position for the double spike, for the spike pile driver. Tully gets onto the second rope and hits him down. It's nice to see Tully doing some offense. Yeah. It's only a jump, but it's nice to see him doing some offense. They grab a chair, put it around the leg of Matt, stomp it down potentially to, in storyline, break his leg. FTR stand tall. Matt tries to still punch out of them, but he can't really do it because his leg's messed up. And I guess then that's going to be the story of the match. That's what, when we get to the match, FTR is just going to be going after that leg. Going after the leg. It's going to be interesting because it is kind of heel versus heel. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. It's a bit odd to be heel versus heel. There you go. We'll see how it goes. But it's a really good episode of Dynamite tonight. Really enjoyable. Go and check out the Penta and Fenix match. Go and check it out. Really good.
And check the Diner.
Yes, check out the song. Also check out Jungle Boy and Wardlow. It's only like 5 minutes. It's not very long, so it's a lot of fun to watch that one.
If possible, just watch the entire show.
Just watch the show. It was a really good show tonight.
Really show.
But that is all for today. We'll be back tomorrow evening at some point. We'll do an NXT review and get that up as soon as possible whenever we have the opportunity to. But that'll be up tomorrow at some point. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review on the podcast apps. And thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.